Happy holidays, everyone. Today's episode is called Happiness Just from Sitting. So, if you ask me, you can really get happy just from sitting down? And the short answer is yes. End of video. That's it. If you want to be happy, you just have to sit down, but be really good at it. That's it. I'll explain it to you, of course. So, I've talked about meditation in my other videos, but I can't stress it to you enough, especially these days with all the stresses of the pandemic and having to get through the holidays with the pandemic. I mean, that's just holidays are stressful in and of themselves a lot of times. A lot of people dread the holidays. Why do you think people want to shoot themselves when they hear all those Mariah Carey songs? Um, well, you're not going to want to shoot yourself when you hear a Mariah Carey song when you meditate every day, because your consciousness is going to go so far, it's going to go all the way out into everyone else, and you're going to feel like you're everyone else. You're going to see everything through everyone else's eyes, and you'll understand. You won't want to be stressed out because you're going to understand so deeply, and that's what raising consciousness is all about. But it is true. You don't even have to ask me. You can ask leading experts. Just Google it. Does meditation make people happier? And yes, people who do meditate tend to be happier. Um, Over a long period of time, the chemistry of the brain does change. Even if you do an MRI of your brain, if you're a person that has been meditating for a really long time, let's say years, your brain is going to look a little different than people who don't meditate at all and who are constantly feeling cortisol through their body. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It changes your brain chemistry. So I honestly can't stress this to you enough. I encourage everyone to start meditating, no matter who you are, because you can't really say, "Oh, it's not for me. I tried it and it was horrible." Well, yeah, it is. It is horrible. What about the first time that you tried working out at a gym? Wasn't it horrible lifting that weight where you had to do 10 reps, but you can only do 9, and you're trying to do that 10th rep? You're lifting that bicep or whatever, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is horrible." But in your mind, you're like, "Well, this is also amazing because I'm struggling, and that means I'm going to have growth. I'm going to get gains from this." Same thing with meditation. Meditation is harder than bodybuilding because it's bodybuilding for the brain. It's bodybuilding for the anxiety centers of your brain, for the fear centers. You know what I mean? That's what gets exercised, because even though you're calm, you're teaching yourself how to be calm in very uncomfortable situations. It's very uncomfortable to sit for hours in the same posture without moving a muscle. It's very uncomfortable. You get itchy. All sorts of things happen. So it's even harder than bodybuilding. But what's interesting is when you sit with your eyes closed for an hour, um, your tolerance for stress actually goes up. That's the weird thing. You're not under stress while you're meditating per se, because you're supposed to meditate in a calm setting with nobody bothering you, hopefully. Um, so what I'm trying to point out is that it doesn't really make sense at first, because you're not actively dealing with the stress, but you're kind of setting your body up to deal with it in the future. That's how I would look at it. So yes, so that's why I titled this video "Happiness Just from Sitting," because I want people to stop using the word meditation, because I think it's just pissing it's pissing people off at this point. You know what I mean? Like, a meditation this, meditation that. Like, shut the fuck up. I get that. I so get that. Not everyone's into that. They think yoga is like some kind of cult or something like that. There's people like that. So no, I just wanna keep things as simple as possible. It's sitting. You're sitting, trying not to think without trying too hard. Because if you actually try not to think, you're gonna think even more. You're gonna start racing. Your mind's just gonna race like crazy. So when you sit down and you close your eyes, you might have your normal day-to-day thoughts come by. And then once you run out of those thoughts, you might start thinking about the past. And if you're done thinking about the future, you might start thinking about the past after, because your mind is going to go through all these layers and layers and layers, and eventually you're going to get into really weird thoughts, and eventually you're going to get into some scary thoughts, and then you might be like getting existential. It's like, oh, how long is my family going to live for? I better spend more time with them. I better do this, do that. You're going to start getting so conscious that you're going to almost get paranoid, but that's part of it. You have to get through it. So I just want to get rid of the stigma around meditation. You know, they might associate with religion or something like that. It has nothing to do with religion at all. Sam Harris, he's pretty much an atheist as far as I know, or agnostic. Sam Harris is a neuroscientist who has seen for himself that meditation works. He has a book called Waking Up, for God's sakes. You know, that sounds pretty spiritual, but he's a scientist. His brother, Dan Harris, I believe, has a meditation app called Headspace, I believe it's called, and it's a meditation app that literally guides you. So if you're just not familiar with what meditation is about, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Headspace is a great app that kind of, I think it guides you. What it does is it takes a normal person and it kind of like, it just gives you instructions, very simple instructions, and then eventually you don't need the guide because you already find your own sweet spot with it. And I'm encouraging you to fall in love with it. I don't want you to suffer through it for the rest of your life. Oh, now I have to do this thing that I hate forever just so that I can deal with stress. No, don't look at it like that. Make it your new, if you love lifting weights or if you love running at the gym or something like that, if that's your favorite thing, it will be your favorite thing. I personally guarantee you that it will be your favorite thing if you try meditating. But not meditating once. I'm talking about meditating for a month. You have to have the balls to go through the whole thing. It's like in the army. You're not gonna quit after the first day of boot camp. You know, you have to be there because that's the purpose. Same with meditation. You have to build that chemistry in your brain. So, and you know, maybe you're afraid to even mention it to your friends or family because you're afraid that they will judge you. They will say, hey, you don't need to do that. Oh, stop reading Tony Robbins, stop reading self-help. Well, you know what? You should bring it up because some people deep down, I've brought it up to people who are afraid to do it, and just because me explaining to them how much it has helped me, sometimes people do get inspired. You know, I want to inspire you to do something new, to find this new amazing hobby that has been around for thousands of years, but it only takes the strong. It takes a certain kind of determination to get to the other side. It's like the grass really is greener on the other side. You have to go through hell to get to the other side. So that's what I'm saying. Give it a month or at least 28 days. You know, give yourself 28 days of meditation, even if it's for 15 minutes. That's the minimum. I mean, I encourage an hour. You know, you might have heard in my other videos, because I just want it to work for you. You know, if you do it an hour every day, it's gonna work. But 15 minutes, you know, that's more manageable. So better do that than nothing. And you're going to see a lot of things improve. Your sleep is going to improve. You'll be less depressed, less anxious. You'll be more creative because you're kind of going to be more relaxed and more open. The less of your personal thoughts that you have throughout the day, the more creative thoughts come in. And it's not just creativity for art. I'm not talking about creativity for art. I'm talking about creativity in solving problems. Think about it. Let's say you have a problem in your life and you need to solve it. What do you need more than anything to solve that problem? Creativity. You need creativity to solve your problems. And that's what it does. It kind of gives you superpowers almost. But even sometimes I fall off and I don't meditate for months, and then I kind of feel really sluggish, and all those bad sort of neurotic feelings that I used to have start to come back. You know, even I struggle to have discipline. You know, maybe you can be the leader. Maybe you can be even better than me and meditate even more often and start your own YouTube channel and tell everybody how much it's helping you and how much I should get my ass back on track. So you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get rid of the stigma. Don't be afraid to try something new. If you haven't tried something new and you're looking for that new thing to try, let this be it. I encourage this to be your new hobby. I encourage meditation to be your new hobby. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because it has changed my life. Not necessarily in a material way, like, oh my God, all of a sudden I have like a Corvette outside of my house, and like, oh look, I'm rich now because I meditate. No, that's not the point. Don't you want to just feel good? Don't you want to just feel like a child, like a curious, happy child that's completely absorbing the moment and living in the moment? Because that's what you really want. You don't want to live in your stupid mind. You want to live in the moment. You don't want to be in this bad neighborhood, which is your mind. Yeah, I don't know if his name was Kent Rez, the lead singer of Linkin Park. You know, before he died, that's how he described his mind, as a bad neighborhood. You know, and if you meditate a lot, your mind slowly becomes a good neighborhood. You know, it becomes a temple. You know, shouldn't your mind be a temple instead of this stupid place that judges you all the time? Like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why did you say this to somebody in this way? Oh, you hurt their feelings. Oh, you disappointed your boss. Oh, you're just this judgmental, critical bitch that's in your mind. You know, fuck that. Fuck that bitch. You know, fuck your mind. Your critical, judgmental self. Fuck that. You deserve to be a peaceful being, a happy being in any circumstance. Whether you have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money, you deserve to be peaceful and happy through that process. Get your money, get whatever you want in life. But why be miserable in the process? That's my question. So please try it, at least as a New Year's resolution. Thank you.